Have you ever tried to use a sacred image as a reminder to stay mindful? Then immediately felt a wave of fear that you might be doing something disrespectful? Have you ever noticed that the question you keep asking sounds like an I? But what you are really asking is, am I sincere enough to be worthy? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are talking about something that sounds simple, but touches a very deep part of the spiritual path. The question is whether it is acceptable to set a Buddha image as your phone wallpaper. But the deeper question is why this choice makes your mind so tense, so cautious, and sometimes even guilty. Here are the two ideas I want to hold in your mind as we walk through this story together. First, spiritual practice is not primarily about objects, rules, or appearances. It is about intention and the training of the heart. Second, respect is not something you perform for the outside world. Respect is what your mind becomes when it meets something sacred. Even in ordinary life, even on a screen you touch hundreds of times a day. Let me start with a scene that many of you will recognize. It is late at night. The house is quiet. Your mind is not quiet. You have been scrolling for too long, jumping from one thing to the next, feeling that strange modern exhaustion where the body is tired but the mind keeps running. Then you stop. You stare at your phone. You suddenly feel a hunger that is not for content, not for entertainment, but for clarity. So you search for a Buddha image, not because you are trying to be trendy, not because you want to show people you are spiritual. You choose it because you want your phone to become a bell that calls you back to your breath, a bell that reminds you to be kind, a bell that reminds you that life is short and your mind is precious. You set it as your wallpaper for about 10 seconds. Your heart feels lighter. Then the doubt arrives. What if this is disrespectful? What if I bring my phone into a bathroom? What if I put it on a dirty table? What if I drop it? What if someone sees it and mocks it? What if I am creating bad karma without knowing it? And suddenly, the wallpaper that was supposed to calm you becomes a new source of anxiety. This is what we are really talking about today. Not the image itself, but the mind that trembles around it. The mind that wants to be sincere and is afraid of getting it wrong. The mind that wants awakening but still lives inside fear. I want to tell you a story about a person I will call Mina. Mina was not a monk, not a scholar, just a normal working adult with normal stress. She had a job with constant messages, constant deadlines, and the kind of pressure that turns your chest into a tight knot. She had started meditating in the simplest way. 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes at night. It helped, but during the day her mind still got pulled into frustration, impatience, and self-criticism. One evening she watched a short talk from a teacher who said something that stayed with her. If you want to change your life, you must change what you return to, again and again, in small moments. Mina realized her phone was the main doorway of her day. She touched it the moment she woke up. She touched it in elevators. She touched it when she felt awkward. She touched it when she felt lonely. She touched it when she felt bored. She touched it when she felt anxious. The phone was not just a device. It was a habit, almost a refuge, almost a dependence. So she thought, what if I turn this doorway into practice? That night she chose a Buddha image that felt calm to her. A face with gentle eyes. Not dramatic, not flashy. She set it as her lock screen. She thought she was doing something wholesome. Then the fear arrived, just like it arrives for so many of you. Mina started treating her phone like a fragile sacred object. She became tense around it. She would panic if she needed to bring it into a place that felt inappropriate. She would scold herself if she forgot and placed it somewhere careless. Her mind started generating new rules, new worries, new guilt. When she realized what was happening, she felt ashamed. She thought, even my attempt at practice becomes suffering. What is wrong with me? This is the moment where many people either give up, or become superstitious, or become rigid. Mina did something different. She asked for guidance. She went to a small community center that offered meditation sessions. After class, she approached an older volunteer teacher. The teacher was not famous. She did not speak in big mystical language. She simply listened. Mina asked the question carefully, almost like a confession. Is it wrong to use a Buddha image as my phone wallpaper? The teacher did not answer immediately. She looked at Mina with the kind of calm that does not rush to fix you. Then she asked one question. Why do you want it? Mina blinked. That was not what she expected. She expected a rule. A yes or no. The teacher was asking about her heart. Mina said, I wanted to remind me to be mindful. The teacher nodded. Then she asked another question. And what is happening instead? Mina admitted. It is making me afraid. I keep worrying about disrespect. I keep worrying about bad karma. I keep worrying I am doing something wrong. The teacher smiled gently and said, Then your wallpaper is already teaching you. Mina did not understand, so the teacher continued. She said, The image is not the problem. The image is a mirror. It reveals how your mind relates to the sacred. It reveals how your mind relates to rules. It reveals how your mind relates to guilt. The question is not only can I. The question is what is my intention? And what is my mind doing? Then the teacher said something that Mina would later repeat to herself in stressful moments. Respect is not trapped inside the object. Respect lives inside the mind. That sentence can sound too simple until you really sit with it. Many people treat spirituality as if holiness is stored in external things. A statue, a shrine, a text, a picture. And yes, traditions teach respect for sacred forms. That respect is not meaningless. It trains the heart. It shapes humility. It softens arrogance. It reminds the ego that it is not the center of reality. But if you make the external form the whole point, you can lose the inner meaning. You can become a person who bows beautifully but speaks harshly to family. You can become a person who fears a screen but refuses to forgive a friend. You can become a person who worries about a wallpaper but keeps feeding greed, anger, and ignorance daily. The teacher asked Mina to do a small experiment. Keep the wallpaper, she said, but change the practice. Each time you unlock your phone, pause for one breath. Just one. And during that breath, ask yourself, what am I about to do? And is it wholesome? Then unlock. Mina felt almost insulted by how small it sounded. One breath. That is nothing. But she tried. The next morning she woke up, reached for her phone, and saw the image. Normally she would immediately start checking messages. This time she paused. One breath. She felt the tightness in her chest. She felt the urgency to escape into the screen. She noticed the mind reaching. Then she asked herself quietly, what am I about to do? The honest answer was, I am about to let anxiety drive my morning. So she put the phone down and sat on the edge of the bed and breathed for another minute. Not a full meditation session, just enough to return. That day at work, she did the same practice. Every time she touched the phone, one breath. Sometimes she forgot. Sometimes she rushed. Sometimes she did it perfectly. But something began to change. The wallpaper stopped being a superstition object and became what she originally wanted, a bell. And in that shift, she discovered the deeper meaning of the question. It is not about whether an image is allowed. It is about whether your mind is using the image to cultivate awakening or using the image to cultivate fear. This is where we need to talk honestly, because different people come from different traditions, different cultures, different levels of practice. Some teachers emphasize strict external etiquette to train reverence. Some emphasize inner intention more strongly. But the common ground is this. If the image increases mindfulness, compassion, humility, and ethical behavior, it is serving the path. If the image increases anxiety, rigidity, pride, or spiritual performance, it is not serving the path. Even then, the solution is not always remove the image. Sometimes the solution is train the mind that is reacting. Because the goal of practice is not to build a life where you never feel tension. The goal is to build a mind that can meet tension with wisdom. Now let us go deeper into what respect actually means in daily life. Because this is where many people get confused. Respect does not mean you must live like you are walking on glass. Respect means you stop being careless with what shapes your heart. Your phone shapes your heart more than you realize. It shapes what you crave. It shapes what you compare. It shapes what you fear. It shapes what you believe is important. So when you place a Buddha image on your phone, you are making a decision about what you want to see repeatedly. That can be powerful. But the power is not automatic. The power depends on your relationship with it. If you use it as a reminder to breathe, it becomes a practice tool. If you use it as decoration, it becomes empty. If you use it as a status symbol, it becomes ego fuel. If you use it as a fear object, it becomes anxiety fuel. So the real work is not on the screen. It is in the heart. Mina continued the one breath practice for a few weeks. Something else started happening. She began noticing how quickly her mind judged herself. If she accidentally placed the phone on the kitchen counter with her work runs, she would feel guilt. If she forgot and took the phone into a place that felt inappropriate, she would feel panic. If she saw a friend casually scrolling with the wallpaper visible, she would feel anxious, as if she had committed a crime. The teacher told her, "Good. Now we can see the pattern. Your mind is trying to be pure, but it is using fear instead of wisdom." This is a deep point. Many people try to practice goodness through fear. They obey rules because they are terrified of punishment. They do rituals because they are terrified of consequences. They become rigid because they are terrified of uncertainty. But fear-based practice often produces hidden aggression, hidden shame, and hidden hypocrisy. Wisdom-based practice produces sincerity, steadiness, and compassion. So the teacher asked Mina to practice respect in a mature way. She said, "Treat the image respectfully, but do not worship your own anxiety. If you need to bring the phone into a private place, you can turn the screen away or place it in a pocket, not as a desperate ritual, but as a simple act of mindfulness. If the phone falls, do not panic. Pick it up with calm and gratitude. If someone mocks it, do not fight. Notice your pride and return to compassion." This turned respect into training, not superstition. And here is what happened next. And this is the part that might change your life. Mina realized her real struggle was not about a wallpaper. It was about control. She wanted to control karma like a spreadsheet. If I do this, I get that. If I avoid that, I avoid punishment. If I follow rules perfectly, life will reward me with safety. But karma is not a vending machine. Karma is the long movement of causes and condition. It is your intention, your speech, your behavior, your habits, your mind state. It is how you treat people. It is what you repeatedly feed. So Mina began focusing on what matters most. When she spoke, she tried to speak with kindness. When she felt anger, she tried to pause before she burned someone. When she made a mistake, she tried to confess it honestly and repair it. When she felt envy, she tried to return to gratitude. When she felt fear, she tried to breathe and not let it become cruelty. This is the real practice. The wallpaper became a small support for a much larger transformation. Now I want to offer you a second story. Because some of you will say, "Fine, but what about actual disrespect?" There are environments where having a sacred image visible might be inappropriate. Not because the image is fragile, but because the context is careless. I knew a man I will call Jordan. Jordan was sincere, but he was also casual in a way that sometimes lacked awareness. He set a sacred image as his wallpaper. Then he would scroll in places where people were joking crudely. Or he would place the phone face up on the floor of a crowded gym. Or he would hand his phone to friends without thought while the image was visible. One day he felt uneasy. Not because someone punished him, because his own conscience spoke. This is important. The point of reverence is not to satisfy an invisible judge. The point is to train the conscience, to refine the heart, to become a person whose actions align with your values. Jordan asked a mentor about it. The mentor said, "You do not need to panic, but you do need to grow up and practice." Then the mentor gave a simple guideline, not as a rigid rule, but as a compass. If the image helps your mind become wiser and kinder, keep it. If you cannot treat it respectfully in your daily routines, either adjust your routines or choose a different reminder that suits your life better right now. This is compassionate practicality. Jordan decided to change his wallpaper to a simple symbol that reminded him of the path without being a sacred face. He still kept the sacred image in a private album that he opened during quiet moments. This choice was not a downgrade. It was wisdom meeting conditions. This is the middle way. Not rigid, not careless, clear. Now some of you might wonder, why not just avoid the whole issue and use no sacred images at all? You can. That is perfectly fine. But the deeper question remains. How do you use your phone? For most people, the phone is not neutral. It trains craving by delivering instant pleasure. It trains comparison by showing curated lives. It trains agitation by constant notification. It trains distraction by endless novelty. So the spiritual challenge is not wallpaper. The spiritual challenge is attention. What you repeatedly look at becomes what you repeatedly think about. What you repeatedly think about becomes what you repeatedly feel. What you repeatedly feel becomes what you repeatedly do. This is karma in daily life. So even if you do not use a sacred image, you still need a practice that transforms the relationship between your mind and your device. Mina eventually understood this with surprising depth. She said something one evening that sounded simple but carried real awakening. She said, "My phone used to pull me away from myself. Now it brings me back." That is the best possible outcome. Not because the phone is holy, but because the mind is training. Now let me expand this into something even more practical for you, without turning it into a list, just as a flow you can absorb. If you choose to use a Buddha image as your wallpaper, treat it as a teacher, not a decoration. A teacher does not exist to make you feel special. A teacher exists to correct you gently. When you see the image, let it remind you of the qualities you want to cultivate. Compassion, patience, clarity, humility. Let it remind you to reduce harm. Let it remind you that anger burns the one who holds it. Let it remind you that greed never feels full. Let it remind you that life is impermanent, so you should not waste it on petty hatred. And if fear arises, do not immediately interpret fear as reverence. Sometimes fear is just fear. Ask yourself, is this fear producing wisdom? Or is it producing tension and superstition? If it produces wisdom, learn from it. If it produces superstition, breathe and return to sincerity. Because sincerity is the real respect. Now I want to talk about the deepest layer of this question. The layer that many people do not realize they are carrying. A lot of people are not only worried about disrespecting the Buddha, they are worried about being unworthy. They worry that if they make one mistake, it means they are a bad practitioner. They worry that if they cannot be perfect, they should not try at all. This is a spiritual trap. It is the trap of perfectionism wearing a holy mask. True practice is not perfection. It is repentance and return. It is noticing harm and correcting it. It is falling and standing. It is forgetting and remembering. It is losing midfulsons and coming back. This is why the one breath practice is so powerful. It is simple enough that you can do it in real life. And it teaches you the most important skill on the path. Return. Return to the breath. Return to kindness. Return to clarity. Return to your vow to reduce suffering. Return to humility. Return again and again. That returning is awakening. Now I want to show you how this transformed Mina's relationship with her own heart. Because this is the part that matters most. After about 2 months, she noticed something. Her anxiety about respect decreased, not because she became careless, but because she became steadier. Her mind was no longer using fear to force goodness. Her mind was learning goodness through wisdom. One day she was traveling and needed to use her phone in a place that felt uncomfortable. She noticed the discomfort. She did not panic. She simply turned the phone face down when she was done. And she took one breath. That breath was a small bow in the heart, not a performance, a bow. Later that day, she accidentally dropped the phone. Her heart jumped. For a split second, old fear wanted to take over. Then she saw the image and remembered the teaching. Respect is in the mind. She picked the phone up calmly. She checked for damage. It was fine. And she smiled at herself. Not with pride, but with tenderness. She realized she had become less reactive. And then she realized something even deeper. The real disrespect would have been letting her fear turn her into a harsh person. The real disrespect would have been treating herself with cruelty. The real disrespect would have been turning practice into ego and anxiety. Because the spirit of the path is liberation. Liberation from clinging. Liberation from hatred. Liberation from ignorance. Liberation from the inner prison. So the image was doing its job. It was helping her free the mind. Now I want to bring in a piece of ancient wisdom that fits perfectly here. Even if you have never studied Eastern philosophy formally, the way you do small things is the way you do your life. If you treat the wallpaper as a reason to be mindful in small moments, that same magnificence will show up in conversations, in conflicts, in money decisions, in relationships, in how you treat strangers. If you treat the wallpaper as a reason to be afraid, that same fear will leak into the rest of your life too. So the question becomes, what do you want to cultivate? The spiritual path is cultivation. It is tending the inner field. Your attention is water. Your intention is seed. Your actions are sunlight. Your habits are the garden. So choose what you are growing. Now let me speak directly to the person who still wants a simple answer. If you are sincere, and you use the image to cultivate mindfulness and compassion, and you treat it with basic respect, you are not doing something wrong. If you feel uneasy because you know you are using it carelessly or perform it idly, let that unease teach you. Adjust. If you feel uneasy because your mind is perfectionist, icy and fearful, let that unease teach you to train. Either way, the path is the same. Awareness, sincerity, practice, compassion. Now I want to end by connecting this to something much bigger than a wallpaper. Many people want to carry the sacred only in special places. A temple, a meditation cushion, a retreat. But life is not only special places. Life is grocery lines, traffic, deadlines, relationships, disappointment, conflict, temptation. If the sacred cannot enter those places, then spirituality becomes decoration. But if the sacred enters daily life, then every moment becomes a practice hall. Your phone can be a doorway to distraction, or it can be a doorway to awakening. Your choice is not only the image. Your choice is the mind that uses it. So here is what I want to ask you, and I want you to answer in the comments with honesty. When you look at your phone, does your mind become clearer, kinder, and more present? Or does it become more anxious, more restless, and more hungry? And if you already use a sacred image as your wallpaper, what has it revealed about your heart? If this talk helped you, subscribe, like, and comment to support the channel and to help more people find these long-form teachings. And if you want deeper long videos that keep unfolding these ideas slowly, consider becoming a member so I can keep making content that serves real practice in daily life.
There are moments when you see something and your heart simply whispers, "This one is meant for me." Bracelet carries more than beads. It carries intention, protection, and quiet strength. Something to guide your thoughts, and keep your spirit steady. If you felt that gentle pull toward any of the bracelets shown, the purchase link is waiting in the description, and the full collection is displayed on our channel store. Follow your intuition. It rarely leads you wrong.